Better like. But I 2 days of taste. Yeah. All right, that's what I mean. He's there already. As soon as they come up and send the signal, he's there. Okay. All right, let's do
He's a regular viewer.
this. Yeah. But I'm late, so a lot of folks they set their alarm and it's like live, not many. Live I may get 50 to 100, but when I'm doing podcasts, when it's big man, like my YouTube channel has 30,000 folks on it, not everybody gonna see that stuff. You know, it's interesting. All right. You just bring it here and you know you got it. You want my dear lady. All right, I got this right now.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Random. Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being here again, folks. Anyway, what did I tell you? Come in directly from where again? Baltimore, Maryland at the Netroots Convention 2024. I am not set up correctly, so the voice, the sound, etc., it won't be the best. Hopefully tomorrow when we get all of this stuff hooked up and set up, it will be all right. But you know, I said if I could come with the program, I was going to do the program. And guess what? We were able to do the program. And guess who I found? Or I should say, guess who found me? About Nelson. How you doing, my dear?
Doing very well. Excited to be here at Netroots Nation again.
Well, let me tell you something, guys. This is great because, you know, she didn't want to do the program, but you know how I am. I'm not going to really. I try my best to beg in a kind of way that say, hey, you know, America needs you. And she said, okay, since America needs me, we're going to do it. All right. So anyway, folks, listen to what's going on. Watching from my generator, Ashley. Look at Ashley is my daughter. She finished medical school after having 2 strokes.
Wow.
She's home recovering, but that is my hero. And
Awesome.
that's my hero. Anyway, folks, look, we're going to have a great show today. And one of the reasons, she came here and started talking about, we're going to have to give people a lesson about what's going to happen to change Biden. All right, to change Biden. It's really not that simple. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. But here's how we're going to start. I have to acknowledge my peeps that are in the room, which are May Wood from Long Beach, California, AVQ from, where again? Brooklyn, New York. Of course, we have Ashley Willis, my daughter, La Mujer de mi Alma. She's from Kingwood, Texas. I don't know if she wants to be from Kingwood, Texas, but she's from Kingwood, Texas. Then there's, of course, AVQ. I think I mentioned AVQ, Michael Rudnick. Hey, guys, the other ones in the chat, you got to say hi. By the way, Tony says, Egberto, I'm incredibly grateful for you and people like you. You do a great job explaining the issues in ways that people can understand. You know why? I get smarts from folks like these, right? Right? That's what I do. Okay, that's what I do. Anyway, look. Hey guys, thank you for being here. Odd, I see yours. The ones you probably miss are the ones from YouTube. YouTube doesn't transfer comments to FB. Hey, I just buy the tools and hope that the tools work, guys. Okay, I buy the tools and hope that the tools work. Anyway, we're gonna sound better tomorrow because I just had to rush on here and talk. But let's talk a little bit about this, Miss Nelson. It turns out that, let me tell you, I love Biden. I think Biden was a better progressive than most progressives that have run previous to Biden in what he got done. From healthcare, well, some stuff in healthcare, $35 insulin, etc., means something, to he was able to institute policies that other presidents would be scared to do. Of course, he had a pandemic to help him spend the money to take people out of poverty, but it happened. But the guy's old.
Yes.
The guy's old. Let me tell you where I'm at. I know where you're at, but let me just tell you where I'm at, and then I'll let you take it from there. I would love if Biden would come back and look at reality and say, you know what? Honestly, I'm old. I probably won't be able to be fully functional, and I want to pass the torch. Now, you told me, hey, passing the torch ain't that easy. So I'm going to let you take it from there.
So, Egberto, part of my concern, and it goes back to a passion, something I did, I think back in junior high of all things, is I'm an outlining, organizing kind of person. And there's Robert's Rules of Order. It's, this obscure thing. I think they still print the books.
Yeah, we do it in our board meetings. Yeah, right.
Almost all organizations adopt Robert's Rules of Order in whole to manage their meetings and doing business. And as a side note, one of the things we've seen with some of our less ethical folks is when they try to not follow
the rules.
Robert's Rules of Order, to shut down protest or to, keep people from speaking. So I have strong feelings about this little obscure book is actually one of the tools we use to support democracy and, let all the voices be heard. It's the structure by which we can conduct business in this open fashion.
Mm-hmm. Let me interrupt you one quick second.
Sure.
Because, we use Robert Rules of Order extensively in our board meetings. If people decide they want to follow it, it works well.
Yes.
If they don't follow it, you get chaos.
Exactly.
So I just wanted to kind of point that out and then ask you to equate Robert's Rules of Order with respect to what would happen if a Biden somehow was sort of forced out or encouraged out.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll get to. The Democratic National Committee and the convention is fundamentally a business meeting run by Robert's Rules of Order. A lot of this we don't see on the TV with all the glitzy and the speakers, but they start off by gaveling the meeting into session. That's the first official thing. They read in some closed meeting or something where they approve the minutes from the previous one and all of these kind of normal meeting things. The agenda item is to nominate their candidate for president.
Mm-hmm.
Robert's Rules of Order has things about how you handle nominations and the people who vote for it and all this sort of thing. And right off the bat, this entire process comes down to, and we saw this in the congressional impeachment things. Mm-hmm. There's a single parliamentarian who gets to make very weighty decisions, mm-hmm. because they are the ones who decide on these procedural things. So that's one thing to be mindful of. You're reducing it to this one person making incredibly powerful decisions.
Who is this one person?
I don't even know who it is,
okay.
But every organization has
right.
one. Sometimes it's kind of just not taken all that seriously. Mm-hmm. Someone will just fill that seat. For Biden to not be the nominee, they have to gavel the meeting into thing. There is a small possibility that he can simply, as one of the first things, say, "I'm withdrawing as a candidate, as a
nominee of the party."
Well, he's not the nominee yet.
Okay,
he is
the presumptive nominee.
The presumptive,
right,
or
right.
I'm withdrawing from consideration to be the nominee. And this releases his delegates. It's more likely that they will have to actually go through, even if it's by just a voice or acclamation, and nominate him, and then have him decline the nomination. Mm-hmm. So this is all this procedural stuff that gets very complicated. Then his delegates are released. And once they're released, they're released. He has no say over how they vote then.
Are those delegates at that point independent?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Then you open nominations up from the floor.
And then that's where it can get crazy.
Anybody, and I know I'm from California. I love Kamala Harris. I want to see Kamala Harris mm-hmm. as president someday. But there is no way to simply substitute her as the nominee. You have to have the nominations come from the floor, and people can nominate whoever they want.
But I mean, let me ask you another. Oh, go ahead.
And then at some point, there's a motion to close the nominations, and so you have this list of people that have been nominated, mm-hmm. and then you get into, are they all going to speak? Are they going to campaign? Are we going to take a first round vote? And it is incredibly disappointing to me, but there is sexism and racism mm-hmm. in the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. And when you see a vote with Kamala Harris, you will see it. It will manifest itself.
First of all, I want to thank you as a white woman coming on this show and just spitting it out the way it really is. Okay, because I think it is so important and believe it or not, I think you saying that will wake up a whole lot of Democrats, and I'm talking about white Democrats that probably have those feelings and say, oh my God, this isn't who we are supposed to be.
The way I put it once is that something about racism and sexism in our own backyard,
right? And
how we need to talk about it,
right?
And that it happens,
right?
California, we had a state chair of our Democratic Party that turned out was very racist, had made some very derogatory racial comments,
right?
And turned out was very sexist as well, and hid behind the protection as a gay man to, say that you couldn't say that about him, and turned into 2 lawsuits and an accusation of having raped someone.
Oh, really? I didn't even follow. I didn't follow that story.
Yes.
That is quite interesting.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, but that is important. And let me tell you, when Obama ran, right? By the way, I started out as a Hillary Clinton supporter. Then her husband kind of pissed me off after South Carolina. When she lost South Carolina to Jesse Jackson. I don't remember if you remember those days.
Yes,
okay?
I do.
No, not to Jesse Jackson. Lost it to Obama. And then Clinton came and said, even Jesse Jackson. And what he did was an implicitly racist comment.
Yes.
And I said, well, you know what? I am going to...
The expression, put your foot in your mouth, right. He did
Right, and
Yeah,
that's when
it was
I
huge.
started to move towards Obama. I hadn't moved to Obama strongly yet, but here's the kicker. When I saw in Pennsylvania, the canvassers were going around asking people who they were going to vote for, and there's this white woman, and her husband was somewhere in the background, and he asked the canvasser asked, "Who are you voting for?" And his wife turned around to the husband and say, "Honey, who are we voting for?" Don't ask me why. I didn't. It's not me who created this. Okay, I'm
Yes.
just telling you the story.
Nope, I'm familiar
All right.
with that happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
And honey, who we're voting for? And the response from the white guy was, "We're voting for the N. We're voting
Yes.
for the N word." That's when I knew Obama could win.
Yes.
Okay, because at that point it superseded his personal racism,
Yes.
but he was looking at his own benefit.
But I
And
would
it's hard
also
to
push
do.
back and say
Pushback.
that in some respects, and we saw this then play out later
With Hillary again.
with Hillary again, is I can overcome my racism, but I can't overcome my sexism. And which matters more to me?
Right.
And when you're given the choice between a white man versus a woman,
And it's a black woman at that.
well, I'm talking about Hillary
In the
Clinton
Clinton,
as
Hillary,
a white.
yeah,
That's,
right.
You know,
Okay.
sexism was alive and well.
Yeah. Well,
And-
I said it. When I was a Berniac, and when the party resolved, I immediately went strong Hillary, and I wrote articles on Daily Kos
Mm-hmm. Yep,
and everything
yep,
with strong support,
exactly.
etc. Right? Because that's what we do. We support our primary candidates, but then we know that if you compare Party 1 with Party 2, Party 1 is a hell of a lot better
Yes.
than Party 2. So we went ahead and did that. My thing is, and I wrote about it a lot. It's amazing that a black man can get elected in the United States, and still a white woman is still. And I wrote. Let me tell you this, because y'all gave me hell. I don't mean you. I'm talking
No,
Daily Kos.
I know.
I wrote the
Understand.
article at Daily Kos saying the following. Sexism. Sexism is worse than racism when a black man can get elected and a white woman can't. I got sliced to pieces on Daily Kos. Our group
Yes.
killed me. And you know who in that group? White women and black women tore me up. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Look, the data is there.
One of the hardest, I did training of women running for office through a number of different women's organizations, and I was going through a train the trainer experience, and then the next day actually got to put into practice some of the stuff. I was working with the women on the module, if you will, of how to dress, how for women to dress, and both for pictures and campaign pieces and all this kind of stuff. And one of the women very heatedly kind of stood up in the middle and said, in some very colorful language of exactly what she thought of being told how to dress and all this kind of thing. One of the hardest things I've ever had to look a woman in the eye and tell her was, because she made reference, I don't care what men think about how I dress. And I said, it's not the men.
It's the women.
It's the women.
Wow.
Almost everything to do with how women need to dress as a political candidate. And there have been millions spent on polling and research groups and focus groups and across the board. And time again, it is shown it is women who are judgmental about how women are dressed.
It's amazing. We also need to talk about things like implicit bias, right? Because my brother here, Lee Grant, he's one of the supporters of Politics Done Right, MAGA, as well as Lee, I don't know if I should call you MAGA or just call you ultra conservative. I'm not sure which one it is. You can tell me in the chat. But his response was, he knows that I'm coming here, and again, like I said, he's a great supporter. He says, racial and gender politics big at Netroots. And my answer is, I want them to be big at Netroots, because the genders and race and sexuality are treated differently in this country. How can you want to be gender neutral when want to be identity neutral when the country looks at you, and even age, right? Look at what we're doing with Biden right now, right? But of course, there's some science behind that. But again, I
think that the challenge is, there is we conflate two choices or two things we identify. It is very hard for people, as soon as they identify difference, to not immediately go to which one's better. We assume that you have to. If you say two things are different, we have this hierarchical mindset that we immediately want to make a judgment and put it in its place. And we have a huge difficulty with saying, hey, they're just different.
Exactly.
And as long as we do that second step, then when you identify the differences, we immediately, almost without thinking, we don't see it as two separate decisions. We just kind of dump, okay, if this is this and this is this, well, we feel driven to make that one's better or worse.
That makes sense. Bridge MCP has great insight. Bridge is another great supporter, and she's also gay. And this is what she said: be a handicapped gay black woman and get back to me. She's a gay white woman of Irish descent. But she says, be a handicapped gay black woman. In other words, look at all the identities.
Yes.
Handicapped, gay, black, woman. 4 identities right there. And she says, come back to me after you see how that qualifies. Hey, Bridge, as usual, you always have insight. Go ahead.
Well, and I would say one of, and I know we're kind of moving into a topic, and I want to come back to our convention and how this is going to play out. But I would argue very forcefully that we are still taken and locked in this Protestant mythos, and I do say myth.
Yes, thank you.
Because we have picked and chosen which parts of the story we want to identify with. We want to believe that if you're successful, it was because of nothing but your hard work and that you deserved it.
Well,
And the converse of that, and one of my fascinations in the world, is that other side of the coin conversation of, well, if you're going to claim that, do you realize you are, what's the word I want to say, without consciously, you're implicitly making this other assumption. For instance, if you're going to make the assumption that a white woman can't teach African American history because I'm white, then does that mean that a black man can't teach constitutional history? Because that was all done by white men. You can get into some dangerous waters.
Actually,
there.
no, you don't. It's not dangerous. Let me tell you what it is. It's the word that I prefer using is people are simply cowards. You see that what you just said there? Can a white woman go teach African American history? The answer is hell yes. And let me tell you better. I work with a lot of millennials, and the millennials would come out sometimes. These are of all races, creeds, everything, right? And I remember the thing that got me, that was most prescient to me, was when this dude, it was during the Black Lives Matter movement, and we were doing a whole lot of stuff. And I was telling some of these millennials, hold back a little, let's hold back a little, because, yes, we want to get attention, but we want to hold back a little. The guy looked at me and he's like, Egberto, you're a black man. You should understand what I'm saying. And I looked at him and I said, my brother, I get it. The reason I'm telling you that is my skull is the one that would get cracked. But then the other thing was, we were in Netroots in No, not Minnesota. The one we did the Black Lives Matter thing. Missouri,
In St. Louis.
in St. Louis.
Yes,
We shut down
we
the
did,
freeway.
yes.
All right. It was funny because the folks in that, when the Netroots went and worked with Black Lives Matter to do that move, we showed exactly what the white engagement had to be.
Yes.
And I don't know if you remember, we all marched up on the freeway, closed it down, and when the cops started coming, the leaders of the Black Lives Matter came out and said, "White allies, come on up front."
Yes.
And they all wrapped around,
Yes, I watched
held
it.
hands, and it's like, dare the cops to come and do anything.
Yes.
That was so it's complicated. Yes, but it's been handled cowardly by the Democratic Party. It's been handled cowardly by people in general. I like when people come and say, I may not be able to have your experiences, but I can empathize with women. I remember I went to moved to a men's session one time, and a woman complained about something, and she had me feeling like, oh my God, I need to go ask every woman I know if that is something sexist. They all said no, but the thing about it is I was asking, what is it that I did that seemed that, and she said, I have no time to talk to you about it. Go figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
I can't figure out what I don't know.
But and part of where I'm coming from is being from Orange County, from Southern California. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But a lot of the Hollywood talk, and there's all this stuff going on about, can a straight actor play the role of a gay man or a lesbian woman? Can a person who's not disabled play the role of a disabled person in these movies? And there's some of it is very, thoughtful conversations. But again, if you're telling me that I have to be gay to play the role of a gay man, does that mean I have to be straight to play the role of a straight
when we know
person?
Most gays, that's the only role they could play.
And we've
in Hollywood.
seen, oh my gosh, I grew up with
From
all
Rock
the stories.
Hudson.
I'm a Batman fan, and I can't think of the
Adams.
actors. Yeah, so it gets into that difficult space of how do you find that. I want to come back to an important point, though, and this is my biggest concern. We can have this.
You're talking about Biden now?
Biden and the
bring it up.
convention, and we do all these floor nominations. And if you go back and watch, if you're a West Wing fan, they portrayed it very well in that series of having a floor fight and all of this. My central concern is what happens when all the people who donated to Biden, and then whoever ends up as the donor, and again, if it's Kamala Harris, I'd be over the moon, when they want their money back.
I never thought about that.
And there are some legal precedents to say
they have to do
Biden can't just take all that money and just hand it to somebody else.
Let me just say, look, I think everybody needs to assess what's best. My personal belief, right, is that I don't think he can carry the torch to really fight the guy the way he needs to. We can do it for him.
Yes.
Right? We can do it for him. But a lot of times, I don't think these polls are going to move. If there's something about America that wants a strong something. Okay.
And you know what? I don't disagree with any of that. My concern is if you're a poker player, you'll know this aphorism, and it's debated in poker. But at some point, you're what they refer to as being pot committed. You've bet so much money into the pot already, you feel like you can't fold. We're kind of at that point. Logistically, how does a candidate spin up a national campaign structure after the convention? They couldn't do it now. Remember, these people, you could nominate someone who does not even have the legal committee filed, has not even done would have to do the legal work to file committees
on every ballot
in 50 states on 50 ballots. There are already, if someone wants to correct me on this one, please do, but I think there's already 4 states where, because the Democratic Party convention was so late, it was after their ballot deadline,
They had
and they're
to
getting
pass-
a waiver.
Yeah, they had to get a waiver. That's
So-
Ohio.
Ohio was one.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple others. I haven't kept track, state by state, but that's in play. So you have some states that have already given a waiver and put his name on the ballot, and then
Right.
we're going to have the convention and not nominate him.
Well, we are going to have to see what happens, but I have to get to our
Yep.
people. These are great people with great opinions here. Bruce Pollard says, not a great supporter, has some issues now, some disability issues. He says, how about a septuagenaric, handicapped universal? I love Bruce. He actually came to Netroots with me last year, and we had a lot of fun, and he got to eat some pizza in Chicago. Yes,
I think we met
because you sat down in the chair where we did that interview, and
Yes.
Bruce was right there.
Yes.
Yeah, we sure did. So we had that.
Mm-hmm.
Now we also have a message from Rudnin, my buddy. He says the BLM movement was the march protesting police brutality focused against black people, and it was met with more police brutality against black people. When white allies stood between the police and the protesters, that was a series of continued heartfelt moments. Let me tell you something. Being there, because I was there when that whole action happened, right? Come in the front and lock hands, and for me it was like, and I have the video somewhere. I should go ahead and cut the video. It was like folks saying, no, we standing together. That was some great times there.
Do you know what? Here's one of the things to never lose sight of. If there is any greater proof of racism in police behavior, the fact that they didn't hit any of those white people. Does anyone doubt that if those white people hadn't stood there, that they would have beat the black protesters?
Thank you. I don't think there's any doubt.
And the reality that as soon as there was a line of white people there, that it caused them to stop and pause.
I mean,
I can't think of a better demonstration of just how different. And I acknowledge I had a very heartfelt conversation with my millennial son to make sure he understood very clearly what he would probably never in his life have to deal with. That he was like a tenth the chance of ever getting pulled over by a cop, and would almost never have to fear a cop pulling a gun on him. And that would not be the same for any person, any friends of color that he knew.
It's amazing, but like I say all the time, we have to have, and this is something that white people got to do.
Yep.
It's not something that black folks can do, or Latinos
No.
or anything can do. You got to go out there and present that case, because when I say certain things, even with some of my audience that are not as progressive as, let's say, Bridge and some of my other white audience here, they don't understand implicit bias, and they don't understand that some of the things that they're saying is actually either quoted by them or just quoted in general of the things that they hear, and it is amazing. But like I said, it is when folks like you go out there and do that job that we actually get change, and we show that these changes are happening.
Well, and it's I want to do a shout out for a mentor and a friend. His name is Chris Crass. He's written a number of books. He got his start in Whittier, California, protesting some things at the Fullerton Community College for the Orange County folks who might recognize. And this is what Chris is about, is that fundamentally white people need to go talk to other white people about their racism. It's not on black folks to do it, or Latinos, and a little bit of the same with men. I can say 30 times to a guy that what he's saying is sexist or inappropriate, and it will not have nearly the effect.
How you doing, man? Look,
Yay,
hey guys, this is
Tom.
brother. Brother Thome. That's what I always say.
Yeah, that's okay.
What can I? Nice to see you,
Yeah.
man.
Nice to see you.
How you been?
Yeah, we're doing great.
Well, I mean, we're talking. Let me see if I can make come on into the pro.
Here, you can
slide over here.
Yep.
Yeah, slide over here. So so you're showing your green here now. Now you're
Democratic blue.
I am kind of colorblind. Don't you know that by now? Man.
I don't think I knew that.
Well, no, actually, I'm not colorblind, but my daughter think I'm colorblind. That's what when I say.
No, I'm a Democrat, not a Green Party.
Yeah. Okay. That's good then. That's good.
You know
I saw
what, though?
Ali pass
I
by
found
with her
out that
girlfriend.
my friends, the Thoms, were also fellow UUs.
Absolutely.
And we're going to UU the vote this year.
And we're gonna win.
Yep.
Yes, we will.
Hey, you know what I've been telling folks, right? I've been telling folks, hey, we are gonna have a landslide because the Republicans gave us a path for it. And nobody believes me. I am looking at the path for it. When we get over our little skirmish here, it's gonna be big time, guys. So get ready. And I got a lot of my listeners and my buddies here. Some of them are good old MAGA friends as well. And I'm like, we're coming for you, but we love you anyway. And you're a part of the team anyway. You're gonna come and join us.
You know what? What I will say to the MAGA folks, I grew up in an all Republican household. Reagan was, it. And my true sorrow is that many of the white community and you folks have some legitimate complaints. There are legitimate issues. There are things where ways of life have been turned upside down. But I think you picked the wrong standard bearer to help you with it. And I think the tragedy is going to be that the real issues and the real help that's needed in coal country, the real issues of middle-class jobs that have disappeared, the real issues of, not being able to send your own kids to college and affordability and the way our lives have been thrown up and are going to get lost. And that's going to be
the phrase that I use on the show all the time, and all my peeps here know it. Whenever, and it's a stereotype. It's a stereotype, guys. Whenever we unite, Appalachia, the ghettos, and the barrios, we are going to win.
Yes.
That's the stereotype.
Yes.
But that is the reality, and if we are doing what's necessary to get there, man.
Absolutely.
We're doing what's necessary to get there. But look at the whole Daily Coast posse.
Every year.
Well, you know what? I tell people there's an icebreaker where you tell two truths and a lie, and I would do training, and one of them would say, I used to be a Republican, and they'd tell, oh, that's the lie, and I said, nope, I used to play for the other team. First got involved, Democratic Party. I said to someone, well, I'm not a registered Democrat, and everyone in the room just about gasped. I asked someone, do I have to register as a Democrat to be an officer in the local club? And they, had a meltdown. That's the world I grew up in, and I understand what my parents went through and things I see, but. I just know that at the end of the day, if you bring everyone together, as Egberto said, that are in this similar financial situation, we could make a difference. When you take the middle class together that just want, we want to be able to retire. We want our kids to have the things we've gotten.
I need to stop you because they're telling me all of y'all need to introduce yourself. So you did it earlier.
Yeah.
Let's start with my brother Tom here. Michael Tom.
That's it. That's me.
No, but you have to say something about yourself,
gotta
man.
talk.
I don't know. I guess I've been coming to these things forever with my wife, and both of our kids have come, and one of them is here here and has been volunteering for a decade.
And in fact, Ali, your
Ali,
daughter,
yeah.
was the mayor of the
She's
Deputy mayor.
deputy mayor.
Deputy mayor of
and
the
is
show.
she deputy mayor again this year?
She is.
There you go.
I guess so.
And
now with her
Kelly?
boyfriend.
And I am Kelly Tome. We are from the Boston area. I've been a Democrat for a very long time, and my husband and I have been to all of these but one. And I'm a longtime volunteer, and I have known this man here for about as long as we've been coming.
Yep.
Many
Long
decades, over 10 years, absolutely
Yep.
so.
Yep.
And then,
So-
of course, we have Miss Thang here.
I don't know about that, but I came the first year in Arizona because I could drive. It was a thing. And I had previously had extended family that lived in the Phoenix area and knew just how bad that sheriff was. And the
Arpaio.
idea, yeah, and the
Arpaio.
idea
Yeah.
of coming out and being with some people that were trying to do something about him and his thing is where I got started.
Yeah.
And have been coming ever since. And
And and that's what we do here. We have this. These are the hard workers. These are like the diehards. They come here before. I come here today and set all this stuff up. Today I got tasked to do the electronics. But here's the thing: they come out here and get this whole shebang working back. And what you gonna say, Kelly?
Well, what I was going to say is Netroots runs on volunteers.
Yes.
yeah.
You put on a conference for, I've heard this is the biggest one to date.
Yes.
I don't know numbers yet, but there's 5 paid staff.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else who's doing this is a volunteer who comes to make it work. So when you look around
Yep.
and you see all of the activities that are happening, all the people running the registration desk, all the people handing you your swag bags and your t-shirt, everybody's a volunteer who showed up to do this. And I think it's a metaphor for how Democrats win. We all put in what we can do best. We find a thing we love to do and we do it. And when we do that, we win.
That's the magic, Kelly. What is it again, Kelly?
What?
What is it you just said?
When we all find what we do best and all do it, we win.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
We
please,
also have to go eat dinner. So
in other
we're
words,
gonna sneak out.
you know what? You're lucky you can get out of being on the show, but you see,
That's
she
right.
did.
Oh,
You
no.
cheated.
Sorry about that.
Well,
I'm
We'll
gonna
talk.
have-
We'll talk. We'll
I
be
think I
back.
was
all right.
supposed to be-
Nice seeing you
supposed to be
guys.
doing
Thank
a
you.
volunteer
Take
shift,
care, my
but,
brother. Have a good one.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Let's
anyway.
see. Okay, we are coming. What time is it? 3:45. Listen, guys. Let's see. Grant says George Stephanopoulos just threw Biden under the bus. I don't know if he threw him under the bus. I thought he was. I thought he was doing what the media always does to Democrats. I don't know if you agree with that, but I think the media always screws the Democrats. But what can I say? What's the woman's name on the right of me? I think she means you.
I'm Barbara
Nelson.
Barbara Nelson. I grew up in Northern California, lived in the South for a year, and got a painful up-close lesson about racism in the South. It was a eye-opening experience. And then moved back to Orange County with family. And our family joke is I didn't move out.
They moved.
After high school, they moved, and I stayed.
I want to bring in Jules Ray, brother Ray from 3rd Ward. He calls into the 6 o'clock show that we have on air, and he's always here. Love my brother. Says when it comes to voting Democrat, it's like we're damned if we do and foobar if we don't. A lot of people are tired of settling for the corporate shill, but they don't engage in the primaries. Thank you. That's what he tries hard. Ray goes out there. He's a member of TOPS. He's a member of all these organizations that are trying to excite the base to bring people into the fold. And he's doing a good job. But brother, you got to just stick with it. It takes time.
Well, and Ray, here's what I would, in California right now, the fastest growing party is no party preference.
Right.
And one of the things, and don't make a lot of friends in the Democratic Party with this always, but we need to understand, I feel very strongly, that the issues that we're dealing with are so complex. Anyone who claims, like, I know everything about healthcare is fantasizing. Trying to talk about the issue itself and the complexity of it is beyond like 95% of the population, me included, by the way. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a finance person that understands the insurance industry and the contracts and the complexity of providing the services and the unions that represent the nurses, and it goes on and on and on. And that's all the healthcare industry. But what I do know is if I won the lottery tomorrow and had to find someone to help me manage the money, if I found a group of people that were all within a range competent, I would go with the one I trusted. And we have to earn people's trust. And part of the way I feel we're losing that trust is when we use some of the same dirty tactics that we accuse the other side of.
No, I agree with that 100%.
Then that's where they can't tell us apart. We think that our policy positions are going to differentiate us. And for most people, they can't make heads or tails of it. We need to be the people. We need to go back to our values. I just experienced a thing in California where we ripped the Republicans for recalling a state senator. We had a fit because they tried to recall some people we didn't like, a local city council person. And then we turned around and did it to a city council person. Same thing, tried to recall her because we didn't like the position.
You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent.
Exactly.
Now, remember now, I don't want to put asking Biden about being too old I don't want to put that into the same category. And the reason I don't want to put that into the same category as civil things, because you're right about that. We do a lot of things that we shouldn't, because we claim the other side does it, and then we turn around and do it.
Exactly.
When it came to the election of Biden in the primaries,
yes, you're absolutely right.
Yes, Biden won the primaries fair and square, but the party made sure that one of my favorite Texans, Joaquin Castro,
yes,
they made sure he didn't get into the race, and they made sure a lot of other folks didn't get. So, and again, this is not to take away anything from what Biden has done.
Correct.
But what I'm saying is, don't tell me that we had a super fair primary, that it was holistic. I'm not holistic, but pure.
But you know what? All I would say, Alberto,
Yeah.
is, and this is a criticism of our entire system,
Mm-hmm.
and this is on both sides of the fence, Republican or Democrat. I feel we give too much power to incumbents on both sides.
Yes, absolutely.
And we don't always, coming back to my poker analogy, there is a time you just need to fold. And just because someone's been in office, you say, oh, well, but they've been there, they've done this, to be able to say, you know what? Turns out they're corrupt. Turns out they're not competent. Turns out they used to be competent, now they're not. Or, and this is the hardest one, yes, they're competent, but now we have someone who's better. And if you were doing the sports analogy, you're going along and you say, yep, they're really great, but now we can get Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant's better.
You can always find somebody better.
And
Bridge wants to say, getting back to BLM and police, Egberto, in Northern Ireland, they shot rubber bullets into the faces of Catholic Irish people protesting, then blamed them. My cousin is blind now. He did nothing. I was there, same here. It's interesting because, Bridges' empathy with the Palestinian issue right now runs right through her life with family in the IRA and the issues that they went on. Americans don't know a lot of times the similarities between the British and the Irish and what you see in Israel and Gaza.
I will share a story with you from the apartheid in South Africa,
Mm-hmm.
in that same vein. I may not be pronounced, the Boyers raided a British munitions
Mm-hmm.
dump or storage, whatever,
Yeah.
and stole munitions during the Boyer Wars,
Yeah.
when the Afrikaners were
Right.
in uprising against. And it was referred to as dum-dum bullets, and it's a kind of bullet that
Should sting you but not penetrate and
No,
kill you.
it does extensive damage.
Oh.
They are outlawed to a certain extent.
We're near. Come on.
They're outlawed to a certain extent. They tumble through your body and tear up. It's not just a bullet going through. The Boyers used them against the British, and the British talked about how horrific it was that the Boyers
This
used
is our
them.
one and wait, hold on
Yep,
with the
yep,
Boyer.
yep.
This is our one and only Vicky.
Woohoo!
Hi, everybody.
She is in. She just came in, man. She even came with her luggage. My
Oh, I
God.
just finished the
got here.
training.
Oh, you just did the
Uh-huh.
training.
Right,
Okay,
nice.
good. But
I'm so
yeah,
happy to see you.
I am
Yeah.
happy to see you
Yeah,
too,
it's been a long
girl.
time. Oh,
You know,
yeah.
it's a whole
I
year.
pushed you out of the
Yeah.
frame. I don't mind.
No,
Oh,
come
no,
on
we're
in.
fine.
We're all
No,
in the frame. No,
no.
come on, get into the frame. There. Anyway, so yeah, go ahead. Finish your boar
So
story.
here's the end of it.
Wait,
is-
you said Boer? I always used to know it as boar, but I don't know.
It's
I could be wrong.
Well, if you say it, ask Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
He does
Well,
all
he's the
best.
one, yeah.
But here's the tragedy of it. They condemned the Boyers for using these bullets. They said, "Well, what did you have them for?" And they said, "Oh," and the word they use is kafir, which is the equivalent of the N word in South Africa.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, those were to use on the Kafirs." So it was okay for the British to use them against the native black Africans.
But not
But
against
the
Boers.
Boyers, the white
Yeah.
man using him against them
Nah.
was horrific.
It's amazing.
And
I
how
never
they-
heard that. I never heard that
Yeah,
particular
that was
story.
a thing where they
But Vicky is in the house. Vicky,
Wow.
what's up?
You need better lighting.
Well, you
Yeah.
know, what can we do? You know,
You get a light.
do you want me to bring
I
that
just
too?
finished my TV media training with our shot
You see, so
upstairs.
now she want to show off. She want to show. Hey, and you see, that's why I tell you, it's this Netroots Nation is so important because what
I
happens
love
is
it.
we teach each other, we learn stuff. You see how Professor, you're a teacher, aren't you?
No.
Okay,
I've
I
done
was-
some teaching in the past. But
Okay, I was
not
going to
now.
say Professora Nelson was here giving us all this. So, Vicky, what's up? What's been happening for all these? We can't say years. We have to say months because I saw her in. When did I see you? June. We had last Netroots in June. Last June.
No.
No.
Well, it's been a yearish.
Been
Yeah.
a year.
It's
yeah,
been a
it was-
yearish.
Yeah, but
I
I
think it
thought
was August last year.
It might have
July.
been.
It's
It'll
always
be in
July,
August next
August,
year,
depending
too,
on.
yeah.
Anybody want to
Yeah.
put some money on it?
I don't care. No.
No.
But
I
know
want.
where we're gonna be.
Anyway,
I've been fine.
you've been fine. How's it? Everything's
Even
good.
though I live in Florida.
Well, you know, you have to learn how to
I
vote
got my
right
work
and get all the
cut
folks
out
to
for me.
vote
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. That's what we do. That's what we
You
do. I've
know?
been traveling a lot, working hard. And
Oh,
then
no, you can
Jeremy
come in, too.
Sprinkle.
You know what? I think I'm going to turn the reins over to Vicky and let her
No,
chat
don't.
with you.
I
or-
need a cocktail.
Actually, we are
I wanted to
done.
hug
We
him.
are. We are.
Okay.
We have 5 more minutes, so I can
Oh yeah,
finish.
bring Jeremy. Oh,
Finish up.
Yeah, I can finish up. Did you want to bring him in and say hi or something to
Oh, no,
the
he's
group?
already
No,
he's
it was
gone
a-
now.
Okay, well
friend of
look,
mine.
I can finish up. I got to go ahead
Thank you.
and.
It was nice to meet you. I hope I see everybody.
Yes, we're gonna have.
Love you, sweetie.
Love you too, girl. We're gonna be doing this all during the session.
Okay.
You know. So anyhow, listen, folks. This has been the one and only Barbara Nelson. Thank you very much for being here, my dear.
Thank you all for participating, and hopefully in the course of Netroots, I'll come back and chat with Alberto
Oh no, you told me you're
again.
bringing somebody for an
And
interview.
I have someone I
Yeah.
want to bring, a young woman from Orange County in Southern California, organizer who is just fantastic. And yeah, but I really think we need to understand the process and be mindful of it. And I'm not taking sides on Biden,
No, I know.
you know,
exact-
stepping down or staying.
No,
I have
no,
mixed
no.
feelings about it, but I think people, if you're going to make the decision,
Barbara, we on the.
make it knowing the process and what you're getting into.
You know what? This show is about honesty and all,
Yeah.
and you don't have to come on this show to agree or disagree. You can disagree.
Yeah.
That's your prerogative. You can agree.
Yeah.
That's your prerogative. But what we like is truth. But anyway, let me close up with
Yep,
these guys.
thank you so much.
Look,
Take care.
thank you. I know you know.
Yep,
You
yep,
take care now.
yep,
all right.
will do.
We'll
All
talk.
right.
All right. Have a
Okay.
good one. Hey, folks. Look, we are going to become. I'm going to try to do this every day that we're here at Netroots, meaning Thursday and Friday as well. And look, it is so important that a lot of people that come here, they feel refreshed because it's like you're among a bunch of progressives and people that are deep into the politics and people that really want to go out there and make a difference. And you know what? sometimes we lose, but most of the times we win. And you know why when we win, America wins. When we win, America wins. When guys like Trump win, you talk, everybody's at each other's throats, etc. We're gonna stop that. That's why, I love my MAGA folks in the house. I know Bridge and some of you give me a hard time for entertaining everybody, but that's who I am. That's who we are. Everybody is my brother and sister, and we are going to keep this stuff going. Anyway, folks, don't forget, I don't have the setup completely right here, but don't forget to please support Politics Done Right. And how can you do that? You can support Politics Done Right by, first of all, going to politicsdoneright.com/support, politicsdoneright.com/support. And how do you do that? I have one cranky screen here that's giving me a hard time. Go to politicsdoneright.com/support, and it's wrong in the, let me put it, make it correct. That is correct now. Just go to politicsdoneright.com/support. And also, I would love for everyone to become, who has the wherewithal to do. Come on, a coffee for Politics Done Right to get good stuff done. Go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, and become a paid subscriber today. You see the things that we do out here. We work hard to bring it home. We work hard to make sure that we do what's best for America. This is not a joke. This is not something that anybody can get rich of. It's just something that needs support. So please, again, become a paid member of our newsletter by going to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Once again, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Check out what we write. Check out the information provided. Check out the fact-based opinions. That is what we do. Now, as soon as I'm done here, I have to go ahead and set it up to work correctly, because I have to have better mics that are going to isolate. We don't have noise now because we're just setting up, so there's not a lot of people. So the noise you hear is nothing like we're going to hear tomorrow when we have 3,000 people descend in on this convention. So anyhow, thank you so kindly for listening. Love you all. You know what time it is. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out!
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.